Hi everybody! In today's video, I'm going to be making a delicious chile relleno casserole. Now, if you love chile rellenos, but you just hate going through the process of making them, then this casserole is for you. They're easy to make and they taste like the real thing. I'm going to be posting all the ingredients right here on the screen, and I'm also going to put them below in the description box so you'll know exactly what I used and how much. I know you're going to love my recipe. So let's get started. Now normally this is the time when I would roast my poblano peppers. But as you can see, I already did that. And that's because I'm going to be using 8 of them. And they're very big like this. And they are very time consuming. I don't think you want to go through the whole process of seeing me do that. So what I did, since I do have an electric stove, is I used one of my cake cooler racks like this. And I turned both of my burners on super high. And I put it there. And then I put my peppers here and I roasted them until they were nice and black. Then I put them into a Ziploc bag, closed it up, and I let them sit there for about 15 minutes so they can get real steamy. Then I took them out and I removed all the charred part. And here they are. Now, up here, I'm going to go ahead and put a link, and you can just tap on this link. That's going to take you to my migas a la mexicana. And in that video, I went ahead and did the whole process. So you can go there and you can watch it if you want to see exactly how I prepared it. Now, many of you know how to do this process, but many of you don't. So you can go ahead and watch that video and I'll show you exactly how I did it. So I'm going to go ahead and set these aside, and I'm going to get started with my meat filling. So I've got my cast iron skillet nice and hot. I'm going to start out by putting my beef into the skillet. Now this is 80-20. I think you know that I like to use 80-20, even though it's got, you know, a lot of fat in it. And then I get all that grease out, and it leaves us with the delicious meat. I'm just going to go ahead and brown my beef until it loses all its pink color. And I've got a little bowl here ready with a spoon, because that's where I'm going to put all the grease. You know, I think I've said before that I like using the 80-20 because it's like a good steak. You know, it just has a fantastic flavor. But you can use a really lean ground beef if you want. Now, as you can see, the ground beef has already lost all its pink color. And I'm taking out all the grease that the meat released. See, there's a lot of it. But the ground beef does taste delicious. So that's good. Now that I have removed all the grease, I'm going to go ahead and put in my onions. I'm also going to put in some green onions, because I like the taste of the green onions, and combined they are delicious. I'm going to put in my carrots. Now I like the carrots in here because they're a little sweet, and then your filling will taste delicious with the sweet carrots. I'm just going to go ahead and move this around like this until the onions release their flavor into the ground beef. Just for a couple of minutes. So while my onions are sauteing right here, I'm going to go ahead and grind my spices. Now I think that if you're familiar with my cooking and you know that when I'm going to use garlic, pepper, and cumin, now you know I'm going to grind it fresh. I like to use the fresh stuff. So in here I've got half a teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of peppercorns, and I put in a little bit of salt, just so that it can be easier to grind. So I'm going to grind this up really good like this. You can use a powdered cumin and garlic, and you can use regular pepper if you want, but I do like the fresh cumin and peppercorns because their taste is just so different than the powdered stuff. But it's up to you. I'll give this another stir like this. Now I'm going to add my tomatoes. I'm going to let the tomatoes get a little soft, and I'm going to let them release their flavor too. So while the tomatoes are in there, I'm going to go ahead and grind my garlic. As you can see, I've got 3 garlic cloves. I'm going to go ahead and grind them together with my cumin and my peppercorns. Now my mom always did this. I don't think I ever saw my mom using the powdered stuff. I do have the powdered cumin and garlic, and I use it sometimes depending on the dish. But for this dish, I would not have it any other way. Now I've got this grounded up really good. The tomatoes have started getting soft. So I'm going to add some water to my molcajete right here. Now just move it around because I want to get all these spices. Like that. Now I'm going to drop them in here. See? And there's still some here, so I'll put a little bit more water. You don't want to leave anything out, especially this. You know, a good poblano casserole starts right here because of the flavor. You want to go all out when you're seasoning your ground beef, because that's what's going to give you the best chile relleno casserole. So I'm going to put this in to my skillet too, just like that. Now I'll move it around. Now that I have brought in all my spices from the molcajete in together like this, I'm going to add my paprika. I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of tomato paste. Now I like the tomato paste because I like the flavor that it releases. It's a little kind of sweet, and yet it gives it good color too. I'm going to put in some salt. Now the salt is up to you. I'm going to put in my potatoes. And I'm going to stir all this around like this. Bring it all in together. Now I'm going to add some water. So here's 1 cup of water. Now you don't want it real soupy, but you do need enough water in here to cook the potatoes and the carrots and make sure that everything is cooked well. And I like to do it a little low and slow. I don't want to hurry it up, because that's when you get the best dishes, is when you cook a little low and slow. Try not to cook anything really fast. Super fast and easy is not my thing. So I like to cook everything a little slow so that all the flavors can come in together beautifully. So I'm going to give it just a few minutes like this before I add in my last ingredient. So I'm going to go ahead and replace the lid, and I'm going to let it cook there for a few minutes, and then we'll be back. Now while I've got this in my skillet, I'm going to go ahead and chop some cilantro. I've got just a little bunch. You can put as much as you want, or you can leave it out if you want. I just think it just adds such a delicious, authentic taste. And I think that's good, just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my cilantro. I'm going to bring it in together real good like this. Oh, I wish you could smell this. This smells wonderful in here like this. See? this would be a real good time for you to taste it and adjust your salt. See if you think that it needs a little bit more. I'm gonna go ahead and replace the lid and let it continue cooking, and I'm gonna go to my next step. Now, as you can see, I've got 5 eggs in this bowl. I'm gonna go ahead and whisk my eggs. Now, depending on just how big your casserole dish is gonna be, you may wanna use more eggs. And I don't want a lot of egg in my casserole, but I do want some in there. I just don't want a lot of it in there. Now that I have whisked my eggs real good like this, I'm gonna go ahead and add 1 cup of half and half. Now you can use heavy cream, you can use plain milk if you want. It's all up to you. Now I don't want it really, really heavy, and I don't want the milk either. I like the half and half in here. I'm gonna add the flour in here slowly, and I'm gonna continue whisking it like this. Now I'm going to whisk it up real good like this. I'm not going to add any garlic powder or anything to my eggs because my meat is seasoned very, very well with salt and everything. And I don't want to overdo it with the meat and then overdo it with this too. I'm just going to let my eggs be because I am going to put in some cheese also. And if I season this and season the meat and then the cheese, it'll be too much. So you've got to bring it down. You've got to pick it up on certain things. So this is where I'm just going to let it be simple with the eggs. So now that I have beaten my eggs really well, I'm going to go ahead and set them aside, and then we'll go to the next step. Oh, this is just perfect. You don't want to overcook it because you don't want them to become mashed potatoes, but they're perfect right now. So I'm going to go ahead and remove it off the stove. Set it aside right there. So I'm going to be using this casserole dish right here. I'm going to spray a little bit of Pam spray, just a little bit. You never want to take a chance. Make sure nothing sticks. It shouldn't stick, but just to be sure. Now here I have my peppers. I'm going to go ahead and line the bottom with them like this. See? If you want a little heat, you can leave some seeds. I didn't. I went ahead and took them out. But it's up to you. Look at how big these are. Oh my goodness. See, I think I'll put this one down here. Just like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and get one. And just cut some pieces in here like that. Just like that. So now I'm going to go ahead and put some of my meat mixture. Just spread it out like that. Okay, now that I've got my meat mixture like that, now I'm going to put in my cheese. Now in here I've got 20 ounces of Monterey Jack, and I've got 2 cups of Colby Jack, because I love the Colby Jack. I think you've seen that in my videos. So I just mixed them in together. But I'm going to go ahead and give you all the amounts in a little bit. So now I'm going to put my cheese in here like this. Now, you know, once all this melts down, it melts down real thin. So you want to put in there a good amount like that. Now I'm going to put more of the peppers, another layer. Now here's the other layer of my chiles, like this. Look at how big these are and beautiful. Oh my goodness. Now you want to put them in just any way that you can. It's like a blanket. Look at that. Spread it out real good. Now I'm going to put in another layer of cheese. You can use any kind of cheese that you want. You can use mozzarella, you can use Colby Jack, you can use just plain Monterey Jack. Any good melting cheese is good. And that's good just like that. Now, as you can see, I've got one piece of chile left over here. So I'm going to go ahead and chop it up. So I'm going to cut the strips like this. See? And then I'll cut them in half, just a quick chop like this. It doesn't matter how you do it. You can do it any way you want. And then I'm just going to put them up at the top like this. See? Now if you were to leave the flour out and the potatoes and carrots, this could be a low carb meal. This could be a totally low carb meal. And that's good if you're watching your carbs. Okay, so now once I put my peppers in like that, now I'm going to go ahead and put in my egg mixture. Make like a little bit of an opening and pour some in there. And pour some over here. Just like that. Let it go down. Just all over. Just like that. So now that I put in my egg mixture, this little bit of cheese that's left, I'm just going to drop it off on top like this. Now I've got my oven set at 375. I'm going to go ahead and put my casserole dish in there for approximately 45 to 50 minutes. Give or take a couple of minutes. I'll let you know. My timer just went off and it's been exactly 45 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get my casserole out. And here it is. So I'm going to go ahead and let it sit here for about 10 minutes before we cut into it. Now, depending on your oven, if you think that your casserole is getting a little bit too dark from the top, you may want to lower your temperature down a little bit. You know, all ovens are different. Now this was perfect at 45 minutes at 375. Or you can just put a piece of aluminum foil on top to stop the process if you think that yours is getting too dark. So now for the taste test. Ooh. Oh, this looks wonderful. Oh, here we go. Look at this. See? Now for the taste test. Ooh, this is a big mouthful. Oh my goodness. You know, if you had your eyes closed and they gave you a forkful, you would think it was a whole chile relleno. You wouldn't know it was a casserole. This is just too delicious. So this is my chile relleno casserole. If you like my video, give me a thumbs up. Send me a comment and tell me what you think. Share with your friends. Thank you.